What's up, manga fans? This is Rafael from C Manga, and welcome back to another review of Hajime no Ippo. This week's chapter is 1072nd Lost. So, this is the aftermath chapter, and boy, was it depressing. Very emotional, very sad. So much feelings was in this chapter, despite the painful short length of, I think it was just about 10 pages. But despite the length, I felt like everything, kind of got conveyed accordingly in this chapter. The tension, the atmosphere, the sadness, the emotions, the regrets, the humiliation, everything kind of was in there. You felt the characters, obviously, really desperate, painful thoughts. Obviously the expressions were expected, but some of them I definitely wasn't prepared for, like Kamagai and Itagaki. Those were some really heartfelt, like you might as well say heart-wrenching looks they were pulling, especially Kamagai, because I don't think I've ever seen him in the series look that vulnerable and helpless. I think the only time I ever saw him probably close to that was when I'd say his fight against Brian, Takamura's fight with Brian Hawk, when he was like, kind of emotional in this one. But this one he looks really lost, like a father who nearly just lost his son, which in some regards makes sense because he does see, Ippo as one of his surrogate sons. But as I said, I'll talk about Itagaki. His reactions I definitely think was suited for, a Kohai senpai. That's all obviously he sees when he sees Ippo. Yes, he's his friend, but he's also first and foremost his boxing teacher in a way. He's the person he looks up to, his idol, the invincible tank, all guns blazing, heavy hitting, heavy fisted punching guy, boxer that Ippo is. And to see him lose in such a humiliating way and such a dramatic and, you might as well say, devastating way, obviously took the breath out of him and the blow out of him, because he could literally not do nothing but just stare in disbelief, and he just started wailing, like screaming really loud. And we obviously have Kimura and Naoki in the foreground. They have no words to say. This is the second time they've seen this, but obviously, they're just as astounded and upset as anyone is. So the crowd kind of shares that feeling, because they're completely at a loss and shock, thinking, oh my god, like, I can't believe he's lost. Like, the Makanouchi comeback just was obviously cut short. This is what they always expect Ippo to make his Makanouchi comeback, and there was a big upset when that counter landed. And yeah, literally that big right hook from Ippo was severely cut down by Gonzalez Alfredo's right counter. So everyone really wasn't expecting that. They thought he would reach first, and this is the result. And furthermore, they're more surprised that he's still unconscious. And this is where things get a bit more emotional. The doctors arrive, bring the stretcher. Even on Gonzalez's side, we actually see their basically thoughts and opinions about Ippo's current state. They were originally cheering and everything, all happy-go-lucky, and then the coach actually says, "Oh, he's still out cold," and we see an expression from Gonzalez, and I was wondering, like, I didn't actually know what it was until his coach said, "Oh, it's not your fault." So I thought, oh, so Alfredo actually does feel some sort of sympathy or regret for the way Ippo was knocked out, or the condition he's in now. But he was reassured, it was basically either you or him, so don't feel too bad about it. It could have been you on the mat, so you had to do what you had to do. And that kind of made me feel a bit happy, because from what I saw, Alfredo was just kind of an asshole. He kept looking down on Ippo from before they even started fighting. Even during the fight, he was cursing him all the time, saying, you're not world class, which is true, but he was kind of just being disrespectful as well. It's not really professional, but I guess he respects him now for his power, at least, and the fact that he did hurt him and nearly knock him out. And maybe he's, as I said, that little sport bit of sympathy, maybe it was there and he felt a bit obviously guilty. But as I said, it's kind of more, I'd say, speculation at this point, because I can't tell what he's thinking, but his coach apparently says don't feel guilty, so I can just assume he's feeling guilty. But enough about that. As I said, Ippo actually starts to get up, and Kamagai is still calling these names. You know, he's been doing that from the end of last match and from the end of last chapter through this one, and he's actually getting up, and that shocked everyone, including Alfredo and his coach. And first thing, Kamagai just completely, he's like, don't get up, just lie down. It's like, do you recognize me? It's like, do you know who I am? Do you recognize me? And Ippo is completely dazed. He's got one eye open, barely. It's completely, you know, dilated, so you can tell he's not right there. He's not fully conscious, and he's like, what's going on? And Kamagai just really vulnerable when he kept asking you, do you recognize me? It's like, as I said, it's like he's looking at his son over a hospital bed and who's just come out of a car accident or something. And as I said before, he looked so vulnerable and helpless, and this is what affected Takamura as well, because he's sitting there thinking, you could tell he was getting upset himself, and he's like, old man, it's like, stop looking like that, old man. It's like, stop obviously looking helpless and vulnerable, you still got me. So, you know, that is some sort of little light, or I can't say little light, you know, there's still obviously Takamura. He is the hope for the Kamagai gym at this point, as he's still got 6 weight class domination he needs to do. So that's what Takamura's trying to say, don't give up yet, you know, it's not all over, you still got me to take on the world. And from what we've seen in this chapter, Kamagai seems like he's just completely given up, like he's just felt like he's lost it all. So unless Kamagai is gonna die in soon or something, like he kept mentioning, as Takamura said, you still got me to win you all those belts, to take you to the top. So yeah, as I said, very, very emotional, very depressing looks on everyone's face in this one. And then Ippo finally, you know, speaks a few words. He's like, he realized he's lost, and the only thing he really says is, it's a shame. And I'm just thinking, what is his condition like, that physically and mentally? Like, he's able to get up after that heavy count, he's talking, but he just doesn't really seem there, so right there. So the only thing I can hope is we'll have more, I'd say, a diagnosis on his condition and see if he's actually okay, because I'm pretty sure he might have got some sort of concussion or something severe from that. He's not going to walk away from this one, definitely not, or without something, you know, kind of giving him a bit of downtime for a few months. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see if he's actually okay, is his condition, or is he just like, you know, just woken up based on adrenaline, but really he's really in bad condition. And then obviously after that, pretty much everything I said in the last video, let the manga continue, and hopefully things will be, you know, a turning point from here. We'll see Ippo improve, we'll see the manga improve as well, because it needs to be a bit more consistent with its pacing and its writing as well. And yeah, that's all I can say, so I'm not going to elaborate too much. I'm drabbling on as it is, but this was the emotional chapter, and I can't wait to see what happened next. So you guys know the usual. If you got any opinions, predictions, leave them in the comment box below. And also, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content, and I'll speak to you guys next time.